Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about vulnerability. Kind of scary perhaps, but that's what we're talking about. Are you ready? Let's get started. Vulnerability, like who wants to be vulnerable? Do you want to be vulnerable? Some people may be okay with it. Other people are much more like this.
There are three nevers in comedy. Never follow a better comedian, never give a heckler the last word, and no matter how bad a joke bombs, although it's never happened to me personally, never let them see you sweat.
Clearly not all of us feel the same way about vulnerability and whether we should show our vulnerability. But the question remains, is it okay to be vulnerable? And the answer is, if you're trying to build trust and relationships, it may very well be okay if you do it right and at the right time. See, in the 1960s, there was a classic study done by Elliot Aronson at the University of Texas at Austin. Now, I'd heard of this study before, but I'd forgotten about it, but was recently reminded when I read this great new book, Friend and Foe, where they talk about that particular research, and I want to share it with you now. So this was in the 1960s. So what Aronson did was he had people listen, audio, to taped interviews of people who were trying out for College Bowl.
Here on the General Electric College Bowl.
The College Bowl, the intercollegiate battle of brains, brought to you each week by the General Electric Company, live and direct from colleges and universities throughout America. General Electric, the company that makes life easier and happier with the world's finest portable home appliances, vacuum cleaners, clocks, radios, and phonographs.
So College Bowl was a big deal, and these interviews consisted of people answering 50 difficult questions and sharing some personal information about them. But each participant in this study heard a different version of the interview. Let me tell you about the 4 different versions of the same candidate's interview. Number 1, the person got 92% of them correct. They were an honor student in high school, editor of the high school yearbook, and a member of the track team. Version 2, they got 92% correct. They were an honor student, yearbook editor, member of the track team, but at the end of the interview, you heard some stumbling, you heard a chair scraping, you heard a saucer and a cup hitting each other, and you heard they heard the interviewed person say, "Oh my goodness, I spilled my coffee on my new suit." In version 3 that some people heard, they heard a person get 30% of the answers correct. They were an average student in high school. They were the proofreader for the yearbook, and they tried out for the track team. In version 4, same thing, 30% right, proofreader for the yearbook, average student, they tried out for the track team, and they had the same blunder. They stumbled, spilled their coffee, and said, "Oh my goodness, I spilled my coffee on my new suit." So the researchers asked the participants who should make the quiz bowl. Now, they only heard any one of these 4 people. So the question is, how did they respond to this interview, depending on which version that they heard? Now, clearly, the people that heard version 1 or 2 liked those people better, gave them a better chance. In fact, they did so much better. They were more competent for the role required. 92% right versus 30% right. But the more important question that was, which person did they pick? The person that didn't make any mistakes, didn't spill anything on themselves, or the person that spilled the coffee? And the study came back that the person that they selected was the person that got 92% right, were highly competent, highly capable, but also made that error, made that blunder, spilled their coffee, showed some vulnerability. Now, other studies have found the same thing over the last 40 plus years. What they found is that while competence and credibility is important, when people who are seen as competent then show some vulnerability, they become more warm and more approachable, and therefore more liked, and therefore more often selected. What's the good news here? The good news here is that we can build trust much more quickly than we thought. Let me say that again. We can build trust much more quickly than we thought when we build credibility and then have some vulnerability. Now, you don't have to have a new suit. You don't have to spill coffee on it. Heck, I don't even drink coffee. You can do it by sharing a mistake, by sharing a secret about yourself, by sharing a weakness that you have. All of this done after you have built credibility and competence. Now, the one other thing to remember here, the other caveat to remember here, is that the vulnerability can't eat away at the credibility. So as long as the vulnerability isn't directly related to the skill, to the competence, you actually build trust higher by being seen as capable and competent and being a little bit vulnerable. So maybe vulnerability is actually a very good thing for us to have and to show. Here's today's tweet. Vulnerability can build trust after credibility is established. Now, this is a powerful idea. And as a leader, we are in the business of building trust, building relationships, because we want to be more influential to help make things happen. These are the kinds of things, the kinds of ideas, the kinds of insights that you will gain by attending the Remarkable Leadership Workshop. I hope you'll choose to join a future event with me. All the information can be found on this page. In this 2-day learning experience, you will find it to be engaging and appealing and fun. You'll get the chance to work with other people just like you that are trying to get better. It'll be practical. It's going to be awesome. And you're going to leave a more confident and competent leader. You're going to leave being more successful than when you came. Now, I hope that you'll do exactly that. One more thing, though, before I go. I hope that you'll leave some comments and thoughts and ideas here. If you like what I've talked about, tell me. If you've got questions about what we talked about, tell me. If you've got other things you'd like us to do in future episodes, you get the idea. Tell me in the comments. Hey, I appreciate you joining me. I look forward to you joining me on a future episode of Remarkable TV. I'll be here. Hope you will be too.